My name is Anthony, and this is day 3 of Banned Books Week. And welcome to the Book Fair podcast. Today's book, Melissa by Alex Gino, was published first in 2015 under the title George, then reprinted as Melissa in 2022. The author Alex Gino explains that the process of releasing the novel took over a decade from inception to publication by Scholastic Press. Melissa follows a young trans girl, starting the story as George, growing to understand her gender identity. From page 1, the book uses the name George for the main character in third-person prose, but also uses she/her pronouns to refer to her. For a majority of the book, the main character is referred to as George, and an author's note lays out that it is proper to show respect for trans people by using her preferred name. So in that spirit, I will call her Melissa throughout this video. The story starts with Melissa reading fashion magazines and playing with her mother's clothes while she is away. She lives primarily with her older brother and her mother, her parents divorced and hardly seeing her father. She is also in the 4th grade, and a major point of the story revolves around Charlotte's Web, with all but the 5th grade class reading the book all together. Younger grades having it read to them, while the older classes read along. Melissa cries at the end of the story, and when her teacher announces that they will be holding auditions for the school play of Charlotte's Web, she wants to audition for the main role of Charlotte, even though everyone else sees her as a boy. She confides this secret, wanting to play Charlotte, to her best friend Kelly, and they spend the weekend practicing the lines so she can try out for the part. In the first third of the story, Melissa meets roadblocks, constantly being reminded that everyone around her sees her as a boy. Her mother says she will always be her boy, her older brother calls her his kid brother, and even when she steps into the hall with the teacher, Melissa recites a line from Charlotte, and the teacher assumes it's a joke, that she wants to audition for the role. Melissa attempts to come out to her mother, asking the question, "What if I'm a girl?" And her mother responds, saying she was there when Melissa was born. She knows she's a boy. Her mother finds the hidden magazines and collection of clothes, and forbids Melissa from going into her closet. This puts Melissa into a worse space mentally, being told that she cannot audition for Charlotte in the school play, that she is not a girl, and this seemingly hostile response from her mom finding her hidden collection. Before the school play, Melissa and her best friend Kelly come up with a plan. The school play will have 2 performances, one for the classmates and one for the parents. Kelly will play Charlotte for the first performance as planned, and then Melissa will play the part for the second performance, without telling anyone. Just before the second performance, Kelly gives her costume to Melissa backstage, covering her part as a stagehand behind the scenes. Melissa takes the stage as Charlotte, catching everyone on stage by surprise, as well as a few members of the audience. A majority of the cast backstage between scenes thinks it's cool that Melissa is stepping into the role, and thinks she's doing a great job. A few cast members are upset at the change, wanting Kelly to perform as she's supposed to. The teacher who directed the play storms backstage to confront Melissa, but is stopped by the principal, who we saw in an earlier scene with a pride flag and safe space poster in her office. Melissa finishes the performance, is congratulated by her classmates, and her mother is surprisingly accepting, apologizing that she didn't see what Melissa was going through sooner. Now that Melissa is out, at least to her family and classmates, Kelly invites her to go to the zoo with her. Kelly gives Melissa some girl clothes to try on, and when Kelly's uncle, who has never met Melissa, comes to pick the 2 up, Melissa introduces herself with her preferred name for the first time. Melissa is able to experience a normal day as a girl, and the story ends on an optimistic note. So why is Melissa by Alex Gino banned? Melissa is a prime example of a book written for young audiences, being targeted purely for its inclusive content and not on its age appropriateness. There are a couple of mentions to the phrase, "the thing between their legs," when talking about boys, and a scene at the end where Melissa dresses like a girl. However, there is no way of hiding the intent behind banning a title like Melissa, no matter how loudly they claim that the purpose is removing pornographic material from schools. Should it be banned? Absolutely not. This is the story of a young trans girl written by a non-binary, gender-fluid author. All people deserve representation, and Melissa's story is surprisingly not unique. Trans adults were once trans children. Earlier in the story, Melissa had not known things like transitioning, hormone therapy, or even really thought about surgery. Her coming out story, with all the hurdles, the refusal from people of power like her teacher, hesitance from her family, these are all things that trans people can go through. And sometimes it is much worse. Melissa is not just a story for trans people. It is a story that can give cis children a window into another world, to understand what life is like for someone that is not like them. These kinds of books are crucial to building tolerance and empathy. I believe 100% that empathy is natural, but can be unlearned, and also must be treated like a muscle that must be stretched. I'll see you tomorrow for another banned book. I'm Anthony. This has been the Book Fair Podcast. Thanks for listening.